Hello, my name is David Oyelowo. I play Dr. King in the film Selma, and you can hear more on the Renaissance Foundation.
We've been doing an MLK 50 project over the last year, and Martin Luther King's inspired us so much. How has he inspired you throughout making the film?
He's inspired me because, especially considering he's a preacher, he's someone who speaks the word of God to people, but not everyone who speaks that actually lives it and walks it out. And, one of the things he believed in and did was to exhibit sacrificial love, to put others' needs before his own. This campaign in Selma, but also being the leader of the civil rights movement really cost him. It ended up costing him his life. And I think if more people put others before themselves, the world would be a very, very different place.
Amazing. And why do you think it's important that young people learn about MLK's message 50 years after he won the Nobel Peace Prize?
I think to really examine his life and the fact that certain privileges we now enjoy were fought for and won under his leadership. For instance, the vote being something we show in the film Selma, and how that was wrested back from people whom it was being denied to in the South, in the southern states of America. And the fact that young people, when they are of age, if they take that for granted, they are actually diminishing their power to contribute to society, their power to have their voice heard. And I think, I know Dr. King thought of the vote as a hugely powerful tool to make voiceless people have a voice. And so that's at least one of the things I hope young people will prioritize after looking at the film Selma and indeed looking at his life.
And what else would you like young people to take away or even feel after seeing Selma?
I think social responsibility is a key. One of the things we try to do with the film is to, in a sense, take Dr. King down from the pedestal and make us see that he was a man. He was a flesh and blood guy with weaknesses, with flaws. He didn't think of himself as an icon, but he did know that he was a child of God, and therefore everyone is created equal. God doesn't see color lines. He doesn't think of anyone as better than the other on the basis of race or sex. And that was where he was coming from. And I think if we can see ourselves in Dr. King, because he was indeed a human being, then hopefully we will see the potential for greatness in ourselves as well.
So you mentioned that he's just a man, he's just a person, and he was always under such extreme pressure. And even in the film, we hear the FBI letter that they wrote to him. Did you feel kind of a similar pressure having to represent him, play him in the film? And what advice would you have?
The pressure I felt was more acquired from putting myself in the same headspace as him. I have 4 children as well as he did, and I'm married to a woman I love dearly as he did. And to the notion, the idea that their lives were under threat as well as mine because I took a certain position against racism, that alone would be enough to, really make you struggle over 13 years of that being the case, from the age of 26 to 39. I mean, you think of how young he was enduring that kind of pressure. But it wasn't just that. He was away from home 28 days of any given month. He had so many people whose hopes and dreams hinged upon his ability to articulate their needs in the corridors of power. In Selma, people died during that campaign. 3 people died. Several people were brutally injured during Bloody Sunday. These were all things that weighed heavily upon his conscience because it was his decision to, lead this campaign in Selma. So, that pressure was very real. I felt it for a minuscule moment in playing this role. I couldn't have done what he did, and it certainly has made my admiration for him go through the roof.
Thank you.